See this drizzly forest behind me? What if I told you we were gonna build the coziest treehouse here, complete with an enchantment area, greenhouse, and even a little house for Millie? Come on guys, we don't have a moment to lose. So I'm thinking we break this down into 3 phases. Phase 1, get our tools and stuff. Phase 2, build these big old trees. And phase 3, treehouse time. So let's start with phase 1 and get these tools sorted. I am just gonna go with this tree right here because it is the shortest and will take us the least time to mine the entire thing. All right, we have our wood. Let's turn that into planks. Let's turn it into a crafting table and some sticks. Then let's get ourselves a wooden pickaxe. And honestly, I'm really curious if you can use mossy cobblestone to create a stone pickaxe. So we're about to find out. Please, please work. Wait, I swear I just mined 3. Oh, Millie, let me see your mouth. Okay, yeah, she definitely has the 3rd piece. So let's do the stick, let's do the mossy cobblestone, and no, it doesn't work. Okay, so we're gonna have to go and hunt for some actual stone, although we probably could just dig down here and there will probably be a little bit of stone eventually. So, stone acquired, let's get ourselves some fresh tools, and we're gonna need a few more sticks. And we have just enough to also create a furnace. Perfect. I am currently on the hunt for sheep, but I am going to grab some of these sweet berries just in case we don't any soon. I'm pretty sure I just saw the legs of a sheep over here. Oh, and yes, I did. Okay, let's grab this guy. Thank you very much. Let's also grab this guy. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a few sheep here. That's perfect. Any more? I swear I saw another one. Oh, there it is. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure Millie likes these. Oh, do you not want some? I swear you can feed these. Oh, there we go. And this is gonna be our setup for tonight. So let's put our food on to cook. Let's also make ourselves a little chest so we can just dump all of this extra stuff off. And then once night comes, we can just head to bed and head out for some materials tomorrow. Looking around, we have a lot of old growth spruce around here, which is cute, but and this may be shocking to you, it's actually not tall enough for what we want to do here. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna build a couple of extra tall spruce trees. That way we can set our house way up in it. I started underground by upgrading my tools and getting armor. Since we have a lot of wood to get, I made sure to grab diamond tools. I also picked up more iron and coal and looted a village for hay bales, which I turned into bread. Then I gathered spruce, a lot of spruce. Plan here is to do 2 or 3 of these, probably 3 to be honest, just to keep the balance, and that way it won't look like there's just one random monster tree sticking straight up and towering awkwardly over the rest. Instead, it will look like a nice trio of trees that all got hit with some kind of magical miracle growth serum at some point in their lives. Maybe they could be like enchanted or like ancient guardians of the forest or something. I don't know, but either way, they'll look a lot more intentional together than just one lone skyscraper tree. I do acknowledge that I'm in for quite the task here, building 3 custom trees right off the bat. Huge ones at that. Normally, custom trees are something I leave toward the end of a build, not because I don't love them, they always end up looking incredible, but they are very tedious, so I usually find myself procrastinating them for as long as possible. But for this build, the trees aren't just a finishing touch, they are the foundation, and honestly, they're kind of the main event, so I've got no choice but to tackle them first. You know, maybe I'll accidentally discover a new meta here, just getting the hard stuff out the way first, and who knows, it might actually be the move. Alright, tree trunk number 1 is done, and oh my goodness, is that tall. So today we're back at it with the tree trunks, and I know this is kind of a lot of not as interesting vertical building, but it is super important. Once this one is done, we only have to do 1 more, and then we can move on to the branches. I don't actually want to think about the branches right now though, because that is going to involve sort of maneuvering outwards and being very high up whilst maneuvering outwards, and usually that doesn't go too well for me. I will have my trusty water bucket on hand, but I am not the kind of gamer that is able to water bucket, you know, and survive. So hopefully I don't fall. That's all I'm saying. But enough about those branches. Let's get the rest of this tree trunk built. Alright, final stretch. Okay, Okay, I think we're actually perfectly in line with the other one. So we're obviously going to place this water down here and wait for it to sort of start falling for a little bit longer, and then we can safely make our way down. Okie dokie, now let's lock into tree number 3. We've already done this twice, so I think this one should be an absolute breeze, right? Okay, to be fair, I don't think I have a fear of heights exactly, but if I'm way up high and not secured to anything, I definitely feel the fear, but I feel like that's completely justified. Like, put me in a harness, climbing or something, totally fine, but if I was standing near the edge of a cliff and it was a little bit windy, my legs would definitely turn to jelly and I'd probably just, well, you know. Which brings me to this. Building way up high in Minecraft feels a little bit like that, like standing on the edge of a windy cliff with nothing to catch you. But I am honestly grateful that the rain doesn't make blocks slippery in this game, because that would be a whole nother level of terrifying. Although we have already survived 2 of these things, so I feel like dying on the 3rd one would be very, very unlucky. So anyways, let's get back to stacking blocks 100 feet in the air like nothing is wrong at all. Wow, okay, those are ridiculously tall, but I am really excited to see how they turn out with all of the branches and the leaves and whatnot, but it is a bit too soon to get excited, so let's get on with those branches. Or actually, let's wait for the sun to go down and head to bed first. Okay, so the branches shouldn't take us too long, but we do have to get a little bit creative with the shapes here, as opposed to just building straight up like we did with the trunks. The cool thing about these being spruce trees though is that they're pretty chill on the branch front. They don't reach out nearly as far as, say, an oak tree's branches would, which means this is only really half the task of a custom tree I'd usually create. And the even cooler thing is that less branch means less leaves. But the leaf placement for a spruce tree is slightly more intricate than the spamming of the oak leaves, so I guess there's a few pros and cons here. I've also seen you guys make fun of me a lot for not using scaffolding, and today I am kind of wishing I had scaffolding for this kind of situation, but also I'm not sure if it'd work for this kind of thing anyways, or at least it would probably be a bit more finicky than just doing what I'm already doing here. So no scaffolding today, maybe next time. I would also say it's pretty nice to have the dirt, because that way we have a nice easy way down. Of course we could use the water bucket, but with scaffolding you wouldn't be able to do this much to get around. You can only do, I think, 5 before it just starts sort of breaking off the edge. So I am standing by my choice not to use scaffolding. And to finish these branches off, I'm just going to do one really tall skinny fence thing right here. Whew, okay, this is very high up. So high up, in fact, it looks like the sun isn't on its way down, but it is pretty much about to get dark very, very shortly. So let's get ourselves down from here safely. Let's use our little shovel here and let's make our way down. Ouch. I do need to be careful of that. Okay, let's get the rest of these branches wrapped up today. Unfortunately, Millie, you can't come with me because I honestly think you'd get stuck up there, or alternatively, just push me off the edge, because you do have a habit of doing that sometimes. Anyways, let's start making our way up so we can get the branches onto this tree and of course onto the 3rd tree, which is slightly shorter, so shouldn't take us very long at all. So we should be able to get this tree and the 3rd tree done today. This one, I'm going to do something a little bit different with the top and have this whole tall thing coming out, but also having a bunch of these like more wispy branches coming out of the sides. And let's get on with this smaller tree because that sun is going down fast as always. Okay, those are looking so good. I cannot wait to see them with the leaves on it. So let's get back over there and get those leaves on. As I was saying earlier, the handy thing about spruce is that the leaves don't tend to go very far off of the branches, so we can definitely use the branches as a really good guide. So even though the leaf placement is a little bit more specific than say an oak tree, it is going to be pretty easy because we already have these branches in place. The other nice thing about building spruce trees is that they get a little bit more sparse as you get up to the top, so it means placing even less leaves. Okay, this should be the first tree done for the leaves. You can probably guess what I'm considering right now. I think I'm gonna go for it. Ah! Okay, that was fine. Not as scary as I thought, although... Okay, maybe building from the top down to the bottom is not gonna be a wise idea though, so let's just carefully make our way across here and try and work from the bottom. That was just a little bit terrifying, but we made it. Guys, I'm gonna say something kind of crazy right now. I'm actually not hating doing these leaves for a change. I think it's because there's much less of them to do, but they're pretty easy and this is also pretty relaxing, even though we are on a time limit, so I do have to sort of speed up a little bit here, but it's still nice. You know what? Maybe it's the rain. Just the calming sound of all the water is just making me enjoy my time placing a million leaves right now. And it is officially nighttime. We do still have this third tree to finish here, but it should be absolutely fine because we are out the way of anything too scary. And I'm well rested, so there shouldn't be any phantoms or anything like that hanging around. The only thing that could be a risk is maybe, I guess, a skeleton being able to see us all the way up here, or a spider climbing up, but I think we're generally pretty safe here. And good morning. Our trees are looking insane, but incredible. But we are out of materials, so we do have to head out for some more materials today. I set out to find a mangrove for both the wood and the mud. After that, I trod around gathering dark oak, spruce, and honeycomb to wax copper. I headed back underground for iron, coal, diamonds, and azalea leaves from some bushes I bone mealed. Once that was all done, I headed home. Okay, we're back, and now that our trees are done, we can finally get started on our house. As you can probably imagine, the plan for our house here is, brace yourself, a treehouse. I know, what a shocking revelation. A house in a tree is gonna give treehouse vibes. But hear me out, this isn't just any treehouse. We're going for a really warm, rustic feel with a nice rounded, natural looking base that blends right into the trunk. Or at least as much as a big house can blend into the trunk of a spruce tree. But we're definitely going for that more nestled into nature kind of aesthetic, and it should feel like the house kind of grew here, like it belongs in this giant tree and has been here for years. And honestly, I'm already super excited just thinking about how cute and homey this is gonna look once all of the details start coming together. But with that being said, let's get this foundation, if we can call it that, and frame finished. Alright, with those parts marked out, it should be fine to just add in a couple blocks right here and a couple blocks right here, and that should join up in the middle, and it does. So let's get rid of these extra corner pieces here. Oh, we lost a piece, and we are creating a little bit of a mob problem down here, but that's absolutely fine as long as we're up here. Every now and then I'll be doing a build and I'll just go, this would be a nightmare to build in real life, and usually it's because the builds like this are like underwater, the end, or literal hell. I love the Never, guys. It's fine. But I'm thinking for this one for the sole reason that it's wet. Like, this is obviously a health and safety risk, and you should not be building a treehouse in the rain. The HSC would be furious at me right now, and I'm gonna get a workplace safety violation. Plus, if I get hurt, we all know how long those NHS wait times are. Although I do need to say, bless healthcare workers. Imagine, guys, yes, here's your cutesy cottagecore house and also a fire hydrant so that we can be in fire code. That would be so funny. Actually, let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do a I spent 100 days following real building regulations. Wait, actually, maybe not, because I feel like I would hate that, but still, let me know. I also love how that seems to be where my mind is at right now. The HSC, the NHS, fire codes. Is this what turning into an adult feels like? And Oh my gosh, how do I make it stop? Okay, I added in this little extra platform down here and joined it up to all of these pieces. Now let's get to work on this frame. So I'm gonna do a post on each end here and also on this corner bit that we created. Then let's build each of these posts up 2 more and we'll make sure that they're stripped after we've done this part. And I also want to add a little extra platform right here, so let's get that done. And let's also fill this in with some dark oak just to make sure we don't fall as we're trying to do this. Okay, actually, let me do this. Then we're going to get rid of these parts and then place these here and these here. And that should be a little bit better because then we can add in some extra posts right here. Oh, wait, no. I'm gonna place the posts right here. Okay, wait. Nope, that's not right. Let me get rid of these, place them where I was originally gonna place them. And then we'll just place one in the center here. And before we join all of these posts up, it's probably a good time to fill in this floor just to make sure that we're safe up here because it is getting very scary. I keep jumping around and just forgetting that I'm up so high, and it's probably going to become a problem if I keep doing that. So let's make sure this floor is fully filled in. Okay, that sun is finally going down, and I think we're going to have to work through the night to make sure we don't run out of time here. So let's get the rest, ouch, let's get the rest of this frame finished, and then tomorrow we can get to work on the roof and the walls. Probably the walls first, to be honest. Okay, everything is joined up, but we are not quite done yet. So we're gonna do a little stair moment like this. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get rid of that leaf. And then let's get rid of this extra piece and then just do the same on all the other posts. Oh, that is the wrong way around. My goodness. And with all of those placed, our last step here before we can possibly get a quick nap in is to join all of these up. Oh, wait, we want to go the other way. Okay, perfect. So for the walls, I'm just going to run around and do a layer of these packed mud bricks. That is a pretty satisfying block to place. Then in these gaps here, I'm going to place these vertical spruce planks, and these are from the chipped mod. I absolutely love this mod. I say it literally every single time I use it, but it is so great for just getting loads of textures from one single block, and it saves you a load of time because you don't have to get loads of different blocks to get loads of different textures. And with that, the mangrove roof begins. I'm using the slabs to create a soft, subtle slope that blends right into the tree, very much leaning into the treehouse aesthetic here. And also, I know I've told this story before, but I'm telling it again because it's important Minecraft history. Well, it's my Minecraft history. Back in, I want to say 2018, literally one of my first ever times playing the game, I remember being so confused and disappointed that there wasn't a red wood option to be able to build my house with. I genuinely thought I'd be able to just grab some dye and stain some regular wood red because why not? And I still think that that is a brilliant idea, by the way. If no one's made that mod yet, somebody really should. However, my early viewers never let me live that one down, but now here we are with beautiful mangrove wood in the game. So thank you to the Minecraft devs. Clearly you've added it just for me. Alright, now that the roof is done, I kind of want the roof to be camouflaged slightly in leaves, so I'm going to use my azalea leaves here to do that. I did think we could probably use the spruce leaves, but then I didn't want to ruin the shapes of the trees and whatnot, so I'm sticking with the azalea because it will brighten it up a little bit and also bring it to life with the flowers and whatnot. With our roof looking so cute, it's time to go through and give these exterior walls a little bit of TLC. I'm going to use these campfires here to make sure we've got a lot of really good texture going on, and then I'm also going to use some fence gates, some nice stained glass windows, and also some lanterns. Right, now it's time for the little treat of doing interiors. So we're gonna go for a little bit of a studio vibe because we obviously don't have any floors or walls in here. And honestly, I think I'm gonna break down some of this post here just so we have a little bit more space. But first, let's get this stuff marked out. So I'm gonna go for a little bookcase situation right over here. Let's use these drawers. Let's use some of these shelves. And let's make it look a little bit fancier by adding in these corner trims. And I do also want to join this up, but honestly, I might just fill this gap in too because I feel like it's going to look weird if we don't. Alright, cute. Now we can turn all of these shelves into bookshelves and also add a couple of these book stacks just for extra details. And then let's place some couches so that this is our living room. Does that look good? I feel like, yeah, that's good spacing between the chairs. Now let's add in a little rug and a footstool. Then I'm gonna make this area over here our kitchen. Let's just do a couple of these right there. Let's add in a stove in the middle, and honestly, let's replace these two side pieces with our crafting table and a furnace, then cover those up with some trapdoors. Then let's use some cabinets here to create a little island, and of course this is a bit of a squeeze, but I'm sure it'll look cute. And right here is gonna be our bedroom, so let's just do a little double bed. Let's do 2 drawers and 2 lamps. Then I'm just gonna place a couple of these like this so that we can place some flower boxes, and this will create like a canopy over the bed and hopefully make it feel a little bit more private. With that part done, let's add some curtains to really finish off the look. Oh gosh, okay, this one is difficult to place. There we go. Then just to finish this off, I want to add in some rope to kind of look like this is being supported, but it's gonna be kind of difficult to have this placed in like the right place. Guess there's gonna have to do. Let's do the same on the other side. And how does that look? Okay, actually, I love that. And after adding lots of planty details, I think we have the perfect little treehouse studio. It does look like the sun is going down, so that is perfect timing to take a nap and head out for some more materials tomorrow. I started by finishing off the last of the wax I would need, then picking up some flowers. I then grabbed mud, sand, and more wood. I headed underground for iron, coal, diamonds for tools, calcite, and copper. I also made sure to pick up some moss and stone. Lastly, I topped off my azalea leaves and filled up my water buckets. Okay, our house is looking great now, but I hate to admit it, we are running out of food. I don't really want to have to keep terrorizing villagers for their hay bales, so I think today we're going to get moving on a farm to fix that problem. And I'm going with a hanging design since I really don't want to overload the tree trunks with yet another big round build wrapped around it, because I do plan on adding a few more larger builds later on. Plus, I think that suspending the farm from the branches is not only a great space saver, but it's going to be way more visually interesting. Something about the idea of planters dangling in the air just feels so whimsical and like storybooky, and it fits the vibe perfectly. And now our farm's built, let's quickly get some wheat planters. Okay, well apparently this single spot is too dark, so we're gonna have to get some lanterns, but that's fine. Perfect. And that is our food problem sorted. Now, aside from food, which we now have solved, my other issue involves the sheer amount of junk that I have acquired over this time. I mean, I do have some storage in my house, of course, but I fear it's not going to be enough for much longer. So let's get started on something to fix our storage problem. So that is the platform sorted. Let's get ourselves a frame. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 on each corner. And that's pretty much it for the frame. So we're going to go ahead and just go right into adding the walls and maybe the roof if we have some time. Okay, walls are done. Let's get ourselves back on top here to start with the roof. And to start with the roof, we're going to have to add in some of the spruce wood all the way along the top here. And in the middle, bring this up 1, 2, 3. Then we can just add in the extra calcite right here, and then we can get started on the roof. Now for the roof outline, we're going to go all the way along here with some stairs, and those two are upside down. Oh, and it also looks like Millie is picking up my fallen stairs. Oh wait, no, she has something else in her mouth. What is that? Oh, it's a tree sapling. Anyways, back to the roof outline. So we're going to do that, then we'll do an upside down stair here, then go up one, up a stair. Oh, Why can I not do that? Oh, it's because that is a slab, obviously. Then we're gonna go upside down, another one of these, plus a stair, upside down, and then just, actually let's do this and then slabs on the top there. Okay, cool. Now let's just do the same on the other side and we should be good to fill in the roof. Okay, wait, I just realized I have this block here, so I am gonna have to get rid of this and then do this and this. Okay, that should be good now. What do we need to do? Oh, we need to do these back pieces. And we should have just enough time here to get this roof filled in. So with all of that done yesterday, it's time to add some decorations, starting with some leaves and vines for the roof. And with the roof done, let's get some details on the windows. So of course, let's put in some windows to start with. Then let's add in a little bit of a dark oak fence gate, and then add a little bit sticking out from those. Kind of hard to see what I'm doing here. I might have to go grab a torch. Along the bottom of the windows here, I'm going to use these spruce trapdoors from the chipped mod, so they look a little bit different to the normal spruce trapdoors. Then let's add in some flower boxes right here, and of course our tulips. Then let's add in a little bit of fence detail on the edges here. Oh, not there though. And let's also add that on this side. And of course, same situation on this side. Finally, to make this entrance look a little bit better, we're gonna do 2 of these upside down stairs and then fill in these gaps with some spruce trapdoors. The normal kind this time. And then let's just get rid of this post because we don't need that anymore. Let's just clean up all this extra dirt real quick, then we can get to work on the interiors. All right, I opted to keep the storage pretty simple, but still very, very cute. We have our 2 main chipped mod benches, we have the normal crafting bench and 2 furnaces, and then the rest of this is storage. Hopefully that's enough. All right, so I wasn't really planning on this, but I do have some leftover resources and I can't keep listening to Millie scream from the ground. It is breaking my heart. So we're gonna give her a little house of her own, then carry her up here so she can be comfy and cozy and not out in the rain getting absolutely drenched. Okay, this doesn't look quite right. I think what I need to do here is bring this one out 1 more block. All right, perfect. Now let's add in a frame. So we're gonna go up 2 on each corner. Should be pretty easy to get this done, obviously, and then we'll go ahead and add in the walls afterwards. Actually, probably a better idea to get the floor in before we do the walls, because that will make it a lot safer. Although if we do fall from here, we are just falling into this little area here with the leaves, but still it would be nice to not fall at all. Okay, floors are in, let's get those walls in. And I'm just going to use this packed mud like we did on my house over here. Let's leave a little gap so we can get back and forth later on. Then let's just add in some of these on these blocks. All right, perfect. Now I'm just gonna make these posts 1 taller so that we can join everything up nicely and also still be able to walk around in here. But this is gonna be a little bit finicky because I can't really jump because of everything above me. Oh, I can probably just do it like this. That is definitely the easier way. And with that done, we can get to work on the roof. Okay, outline done. Let's fill in the rest of this roof, just like we did with my house with this lovely red wood. Finally, before we go in and add the interiors, I'm gonna add a little bit of exterior details with just some basic trapdoors like this and some fences and lanterns. Oh my goodness. I am so glad this bunch of leaves. Okay, quick check on how everything is looking, and I think it's looking great. So let's get back into Millie's house and give her some interiors before we surprise her with her new home. So obviously Millie is very fancy and deserves a double bed with some very cute heart love sheets. Wait, what? Very cute love heart sheets. That's what I was trying to say. Then I'm gonna put a couple cabinets either side of the bed, and we're gonna use some pink lamps. I can't tell what's off and what's on. I think that's on. Oh wait, that's off. There we go. And then we're gonna surround this bed with a nice canvas rug. Then above the bed, we're gonna do a couple flower boxes with some tulips and some of these. Gorgeous. Then of course Millie needs her food and her water, so that is perfect. And I'm going to use this extra space over here for some extra storage, but also a nice little study area for our fox, because of course she does a lot of that. Oh, actually I've just realized I've put those in the wrong place. Should have put these right here, and then these go up here. Then I'm just gonna add a little lantern under here because it's a little bit dark. Let's add in a pot with some leaves. Then I have this little book stack, And this really cute little chicken plush, which I think Millie will love. Or she'll try and eat it, but still, looks very cute. And with that, Millie's home is complete. So let's go get her. So just gonna get her out of what looks like a trap right now. And then we're gonna crouch and pick her up. Then let's make our way all the way up these waterfalls so we can get her to our house. Can we fit under here? Oh, we can. Perfect. There we go, Mills. What do you think? I need you to stay up here so that you're absolutely safe because I really do not want you falling and jumping from this height. Okay, Millie, please do not ever do that again. Get in here. I should probably put a door on this place. Uh-oh, where's she gone? Millie, where are you? Oh dear. Wait, is that her? Nope, that's a skeleton. Where did she go? What on earth? Oh my goodness, she's literally all the way down there. Okay, so maybe I'll put a door on this place right now, and then we'll get Millie in a second. Okay, hopefully attempt number 2 goes a lot better. Let's just close that up for now. And Millie, please let me know what you think now. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to what is next. Oh, no, stay in your house. So with that done, let's head out for some more materials because we are out. Or at least we're out of the stuff that we need for our next thing. So let's go. I spent more time than I care to admit finding everything I needed for bookshelves. I then topped off my wax and copper, as well as my iron, coal, and diamonds. I found some obsidian in a ruined portal while I was topping off my spruce and dark oak. Some azalea leaves later, and I was heading home. I was thinking that a hanging enchantment area would be the cutest thing ever in here, so let's see how we can go about getting that done. Okay, that's the basic platform done. Let's add in some extra details on the side here with some stripped spruce wood and also add in some spruce fences. I do want these to trail sort of downwards a little bit, so I am going to have to jump down and do that later. But for now, let's just leave it like this. Oh, actually, I'm going to get rid of this bit here so that I can create a little bit of an extra platform out this way. Then I just need to repeat this over here. So all of our fences are added. I've also added our little hanging things like we have here on the farm. Now let's build up our frames. So on each of the corners here, we're just going to go up 1, 2, 3 so that we actually have some space to walk around inside of here without hitting our heads. Then just before we add in all of the walls, I'm just going to add in some lanterns. That way it should save us having to maneuver around the outside to do extra details and whatnot. Although I still might have to do that. I haven't decided yet. Ah! Okay, that was a little bit close. All right, wall time. I'm going to use these type of oxidized, what are they called? Copper blocks down here. Oh, not those, not those, not those. These ones. Nope, not those. These ones. There we go. Then with the oxidized copper, I'm going to create the rest of the walls. And for the roof here, I'm going to match mine and Millie's house by adding in these spruce slabs and then mixing in our mangrove slabs. Oh my goodness, I did not even notice the sun going down, but it has in fact gone down. But I think we should be fine because we're up pretty high and anything scary spawning should be down on the floor. Or at the very least, far away enough from us for it to not be a threat. I did manage to get the roof done safely last night, but now I do have to do a little bit of that maneuvering around the outside to add some extra details because I have in fact decided to add some. So just on these corner bits here, I'm going to add in some dark oak fences. Then I got to make my way all the way around the back and oh my goodness, there is a mini mob farm happening down here. Gosh, okay, I'm going to have to deal with that at some point, but I'm glad that point is not right now. Then on the front here, I'm going to add this really cute spruce door, a spruce slab, a couple spruce trap doors, and then some spruce fence gates to make it look like it's well supported. Now we have just enough space in here to add in our enchant setup. And I noticed that within the chipped mod, you can actually chip the bookshelves, which is super, super cute because it means that we can get a little bit of variation and make it look a little bit cooler in here. Then I'm going to add in a couple barrels over here and fill in all of this space with some of our azalea leaves. Finally, we're going to need a little bit of light in here. So let's just put some lanterns. I did want to put one here, but does that block the barrel too much? A little bit. Maybe I can put it on top of the barrel. Okay, yep, that works. Let's put one this side too. And of course, finally, let's add our enchant table. How adorable is that? So that's our enchant setup done, and our whole area is starting to come together so nicely now. But with that being said, it is time for another little adventure gathering more materials. Heading to the outskirts of the forest for more spruce, I continued on to top off my dark oak as well. I then headed underground for more iron, coal, and to bone meal various azalea bushes for leaves. Okay, so thus far I've been using water and dirt blocks to get up and down, and while that's practical enough for me, we do need a better, more aesthetically pleasing solution. So I'm thinking spiral staircase. I'm thinking today we can get the base down pretty easily, and then tomorrow we can get all of the decorations done. As I was building the other structures, you might remember that I added those little balcony type platform bits, and that was very much on purpose. The idea is that these spiraling stairs I'm working on now will hopefully connect right up with them. That said, I'm very much winging the placement here and just putting a lot of faith in the Minecraft gods to bless me with some perfect alignment. Alright, we're coming up to our first little platform here, and I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna line up, but we're about to find out if the Minecraft gods have blessed us. Do you know what? They might have. They actually might have. 1 second. That is actually so satisfying. Oh my goodness. All right, we are slowly but surely coming up on our house now. And to be honest, I don't think this one really matters because we don't have a direct platform like we did for the other one, but we still need to sort of line it up well enough. To be honest, I think we may need to create like a long platform out of here because I don't think this is going to work just as a normal spiral. I'm also going to get rid of that because I don't think we need to go up anymore. Where's the middle? Okay, this is the middle. Let's bring this out. Let's fill in the hole of water and fall. Then we can add in a little bit of extra platform here, and this should look okay. Then I'm gonna match the whole rope theme that I have going on and have a rope going from up here all the way down to here. And this particular rope is climbable, which is super handy. And just like that, we have an easy way in and out of our house that isn't just a pool of water. So just before night fell last night, I did add in these extra pieces of dark oak, but it's sounding a little bit scary on my staircase here. So I think I've got a little bit of an issue to deal with first before I carry on with the details here. Or was it just that one? Nope, it definitely sounds like there's more. Maybe they're hiding underneath though. Okay, I can't see any of them, so I'm gonna run all the way back up to the top and ignore them for now. So let's add in some of these palisades right here on top of each of these posts that I've added, and of course some lanterns so that we can actually see when it gets dark. You know, ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to stay in a treehouse. Not just one of those little backyard platforms with a rope ladder. I mean like a full-blown, tucked away in the forest, whimsical hideout kind of suspended pod type treehouse. Like, do you guys remember that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I think the movie is from 2005, but even if you're young, I am so sure that you've seen the movie. Like, surely. And if you haven't, you have to go watch it because it is super fun. But anyways, when Wonka visits the Oompa Loompas for the first time and they're all living up in the trees, I remember watching that and thinking, yep, that is it. That is the dream. All those bridges and huts way above the ground, like a secret world hidden in the leaves. It just looks so peaceful and magical, and I feel like if you lived up there, your only worries would be swinging from vines and I guess maybe sharing the cocoa beans with your neighbors. But actually also, when he eats that green goo from those caterpillars, did those look delicious to anyone else, or was that just me? I can't remember if he says that they're gross in the movie, but I just remember thinking it looked delicious. However, anytime I get to build something treehouse inspired in Minecraft, it's basically me just trying to live out that childhood fantasy. And of course, this is slightly different from the Loompa tree houses, but the point still stands. Okay, well, I definitely love this so much better than the whole water situation we had going on. Literally so much better. However, it's time to gather materials one last time. After repairing my tools and gathering a ton of iron and coal, I set out collecting sand and various dyes. I replenished my spruce, oak, and dark oak and started on the task of finding enough sheep for wool. I collected more mud, refilled my water buckets, snagged some sweet berries and carrots, and then headed home. My main problem with this build so far is that it's still a little dark, so to remedy that, But let's get in and add a bunch of hanging lanterns because obviously it will light the place up, but it will also make it look even cuter than it already does. Okay, I think that's a really... Oh, wait. Okay, 1 second. I was gonna say that's a really cute way to do this, but I just had a little bit of an idea. What if we take that off, add a hopper to cover up the dirt, and then add the lantern? Oh, now I need to figure out how to get even lower again. Oh, wait. There's literally a staircase where I can just do this. Anyways, when those berries grow in, it will obviously attach to the chain here and it will look a lot better. But I'm really happy with that, so let's add a few more of those in. Let's do maybe one coming from here. And then we'll have to go down to the next level to build up to be able to build the rest of the chain. Where did I even place it? Oh, there. Okay. Building out and building up. Oh, actually, let's keep it quite low. Let's do... Oh, what am I looking at? Oh, that's the bottom of a lantern. The chain is literally right here. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I guess we do need to bring this out a little bit more because that chain is obviously going over the flowers, I think. So let's just break that down so we get those back. And let's add our chain up this way. Oh, I've gone too far. All right, upper chain. And then we'll just chain our way all the way down to here. Oh, I can't reach to the chain anymore. Guys, I'm having an absolute mare with this right now. Okay, I think that's good now. So let's add in our piece of dirt underneath. Then let's add our trapdoors. Then let's add in our berry here. Let's build down a little bit. I almost broke that piece of dirt and I would have fallen to my death. And then let's get back to the safety of being over here. And let's make our way down to the next level to place the lantern. And I did see a skeleton down here, so I am looking out for that. All right, hopper, chain, no, hopper, lantern. Then maybe we could do like another chain situation and then maybe another one of these a bit lower down. Maybe that would be really cute. What am I doing? Goodness. After having an absolute mare with the first couple of hanging lanterns, I did eventually get the hang of it. Once I figured out the right rhythm and completely stopped talking, the final few went up pretty quickly. Definitely one of those why was this so hard at first moments, but hey, at least the cozy vibes are cozy vibing now. Alright, gorgeous, stunning, amazing. Oh, you can't really see the other one that I was gonna point out, but it is looking great. So let's move on with our next project. I was thinking that it'd be incredibly sweet to have a little greenhouse tucked up in the trees here, just kind of like a hidden treetop garden, or I guess more of a vegetable patch. And you know what? I've actually been getting into growing my own food in real life, so I love adding these cozy garden type builds into my world. Right now, I'm growing a bunch of herbs, mostly basil and chives, because honestly, those are the only ones surviving my care so far. I also have a sweet little pepper plant, like bell peppers, and I also have some strawberries growing. Although, not to sound incredibly boring, the weather has been a little bit bad, so the strawberries are holding on for dear life at the moment. But as for this greenhouse in the game, it's going to be home to some trusty potatoes and carrots. Not the most thrilling crops, but definitely some of the tastiest, especially roasted up for a cozy Sunday roast. Also, if you're not in the UK, it's pretty much tradition to have a huge roast dinner like every Sunday. Okay, maybe not huge, but like, you know, roasted meats and then potatoes and carrots and swede and parsnips and I don't know, Yorkshire pudding, stuffing, just anything that you could ever need on a roast dinner. Now, I don't personally have a Sunday roast every single Sunday, but I know people who do, like my grandparents, for example. Also, on the note of growing my own food, I have thought about growing my own potatoes a lot, but it kind of scares me because I don't know how poisonous they can get if you eat a bad one. You can probably tell if it's a bad one, but I don't know. I just have an anxiety about growing potatoes for some reason, even though it'd be super duper easy because you only have to leave a potato in a dark place for like 20 minutes and it starts growing shoots and, you know, wanting to spread everywhere. So I don't know. Am I old? This sounds like old people conversation. Okay, I'm kind of confused right now because what is going on with these posts? I've done something wrong and I can see that I've done something wrong, but I can't figure out what it is. Or have I? Have I fixed it? That's in like an L shape. Well, I did do something wrong. I miscounted. Anyways, let's head to bed because that sun is going down. Big jump. Oh, we failed. I jumped a little bit too late. Oops. Okay, fine. I'll deal with this guy. And, anyways, let's get ourselves to bed. All right, new day, and we are back into the greenhouse. Today we're gonna do, hopefully, the walls and the roof. It might be a little bit interesting because we're obviously working with glass. Oh, wait. We're using chipped glass, which means if we do misplace anything, we can just literally break it without silk touch, which is incredibly blessed. So, hopefully, this won't be too bad. I do love the way that the rain gets all reflective and pretty with these shaders though, because it is gorgeous. And that just reminded me, there was an old Thomas the Tank Engine movie that had this real life opening in a big city, and the main character talked about how headlights reflecting on wet streets was magic. And that rewired my brain as a child. But also, I just think that that's a really nice way to view the world, you know? We could all do with a little more magic in our lives. Every time I'm working on a build in the rain, especially in a spruce forest, I can't help but think about Twilight. And I don't actually know if this is a popular opinion or not, but I really quite like those movies. Not because I think they're just fantastic romances, but because if you watch it as like a parody of a rom-com, it's completely hilarious. And honestly, like anything Anna Kendrick does in those movies is completely perfect. Sorry about the mini Twilight rant there, but yeah. Once the walls were done, I realized I had a decent amount of time left to tackle my remaining projects, so instead of rushing to cram everything in, I decided to take a bit of a breather. I slowed things down and just enjoyed the process of finalizing the roof of the greenhouse and planting my carrots and potatoes. It's definitely really nice to have those slower moments in a build where the pressure's off and you can just appreciate the little things. Like placing crops in neat little rows or watching the sunset through the glass panes you just installed. It's a nice reminder that even in a world full of big plans and huge builds, sometimes the best part is just soaking in the quiet, cozy progress. So that is our gorgeous greenhouse added. Now it's time to add some flags. So I've run around and added in a bunch of these fences around the place, and I'm just gonna add in all of this blue wool just like this, and then hang some banners from it so we have a little bit of movement. And I'm hoping this just adds a little bit of extra visual interest because, well, at the moment it looks great, but I feel like this will just elevate it even further. I'm also thinking it will look really cool to have some of the flags connecting up the houses that we've done here, so let's do a little bit of banner action right there and maybe off here too. Nothing too... Wait, Millie. How did you get out of your house? Oh my goodness, what the heck? I must have left the door open. But anyways, nothing too crazy, just something to add a little bit of color to the build. Now let's go save our girl before she hurts herself. I am thinking she's probably just gonna jump right off and follow me. Oh, okay, well she already did that. Perfect. Let's just pick you up, Mills. If you could stay still, that would be great. Thank you. And let's put you back up in the safety of your home. And almost lastly, we're gonna need some bridges to properly connect up all of our buildings. As lovely as it's been using dirt and water to get between everything, I think this is gonna look much better. So I've bridged the gap between Millie's house and my house, but I'm realizing that the gap here is our kitchen, which isn't really ideal. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do to fix this. I guess the entrance could be between the kitchen and we could just move the stove to right here. I mean, it's maybe not the most perfect fix, but it does still work, right? I was gonna comment how this gives Millie free reign over the house, but it sounds like she's somehow jumped out over one of the edges up here, and honestly I don't know how she's done that. Oh, probably like this. Where is she? Is that her? No. I can hear her sniffing about though, but I'm sure she's fine. Anyways, I don't know. Anyways, let me show you these bridges. Oh my gosh, it got dark quick. You know what? I'm actually going to go to bed first and then show you, because otherwise I don't think you guys are going to be able to see anything. So we have this bridge here going into our greenhouse. We have the farm to the enchantment room, and then we obviously have the farm going around to the storage and the one between Millie's house and my house. I'm pretty obsessed with how this has turned out already, but I do have some final few details to add. So let's get to it. As lovely as this dense forest of spruce trees surrounding the build is, I am going to go ahead and clear out a bunch of them. Only because I feel like it's pretty tricky to see our build in its full glory, so we've got to get rid of a few trees, unfortunately. Don't worry though, I am not chopping everything down. I'm just giving the build some breathing room so that the details can really shine. And with some of the trees gone, I'm just going to finish adding in this cute little pathway right here with these, what are they called? Oak plank paths, and also these mud brick strewn rocky paths. That was a mouthful. Then I'm gonna add in a little table and another little table, and then a nice bench at the bottom of our staircase, and a lantern to make sure it's nicely lit up here. And just for something small that I think fits the vibe, I'm gonna add in a few of these mushrooms that I've picked up because it's gonna look adorable. As Millie and I ascended into our canopied home for the last time, I knew we had succeeded in creating a cozy treehouse home here in this rainy forest. My name is Em, this is Millie, and you have all been amazing. Thank you so much for watching, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!